Good morning and welcome to Thursday. I'm so glad you're here. And you know what? I can't believe it. We're almost finished. We only have one more day. You guys are doing great. And I would just like to say that I am so grateful that each of you were able to make this commitment to a detox and just taking this detox journey with me this week. So thank you so much for being here this morning. So, our encouraging word for today is gratitude is the right attitude. And that is so true. Research has played that out over and over. It's why I included in one of the things to do in the morning is to wake up and do a gratitude journal. Because sometimes just thinking of those things that we are grateful for first thing in the morning really makes a difference. So, as women with hormone fluctuations, we can certainly find ourselves in a mood, right? Or with the wrong attitude. And so that journaling activity really is something to help change that. It can help you get up on the right side of the bed, right? So, what were you grateful for this morning? I was grateful that the sun was out. It's so beautiful. And, sometimes when we get up and we appreciate what's happening, even the bad things, or not bad things, but like I was grateful for the snow and been grateful for the rain and been very careful not to be complaining about how much rain we're getting and how much snow. And because we really needed it, it was very dry. So having that grateful attitude really has kept me positive and then that means today, when the sun is out and shining and there's snow on the ground and it's beautiful out, I can have a really positive attitude. So, if you don't have time to write down in a journal um, what you're grateful for at the beginning of the morning, I would recommend that you could even just say it to yourself in the mirror. The idea is that your brain is hearing or receiving the message, the positive messages that you're sending it by being grateful and making a list of things or people or situations that you're grateful for each day. So today, during our little chat together here this morning, I wanted to address cravings. I know you all have them, and I'm sure that you've been battling some of those during this last week. And cravings kind of play into that whole idea of our attitudes, because sometimes if we're craving something or we're cranky or we're depressed, we reach for something to make us feel better, right? So I wanted to take a look at what are some major causes, and there's five of them I want to point out this morning. Some causes for cravings and why you might experience cravings. Um, the primary reason for a craving usually is primary foods. And what I mean by that is things that we don't put in our mouth. So, a primary food is something like you're dissatisfied with a relationship, or maybe you're getting the wrong kind or amounts of exercise. We've talked about that, and that can make you have a craving as well. Stress, excessive stress, or just a stressful situation can make you have a craving. Or if you're depressed or bored or some of these other things, they can all cause us to use food as a substitute. So it's not that we're hungry or that we need a nutrition, we need to fix whatever that relationship or primary food issue is in our life. The next one is water. Believe it or not, when you lack hydration because you haven't been drinking water throughout the day like you're supposed to, it can manifest as hunger. And so you may think that you're hungry when in reality, you're thirsty. And so I always recommend that if you're feeling hungry or you're wanting a snack, have a glass of water first and then say, do I still want that? And if the answer is yes, then have it. Because the other thing is, we don't want to stress out over not having a snack, right? And especially if it's something that we're craving. It's kind of like yesterday, I was standing at the grocery store, and you know how they always have the candies there, right? So we're at the health food store, and right there in front of me are these um, dark chocolate peanut butter cups. Just one, it's about this big. no big deal. And I went, wow, I really just want one. Well, really, what was happening is I needed the sugar for some instant energy because it was late in the afternoon. I didn't take time to have our detox lunch yesterday. I was working pretty much through lunch. So I was hungry and I needed some energy, some quick energy. And quick energy comes in the form of a good dark chocolate and some peanut butter protein to back it up. And so I had one. And that way I didn't have to stress over, oh my gosh, I'm on a detox. I can't have sugar, da 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 da. Nope. I was there. It's a small little piece of candy and I had it. And I felt good afterwards and I was able to make it to dinner time where I had a nutritious dinner. So it's things like that you just need to keep in mind. It's important to give your body what it asks for. All right, another one. So water. Water is important. Make sure you have water. And I had water during the day. I just was low energy. Um, the next one is seasonal cravings. And so a lot of times, if you ever notice, like I always go, it's soup and stew weather, because when we come to winter, we want to have those kinds of seasonal foods. So we're looking for warm foods or maybe even spicy foods to kind of heat our body internally. You might find yourself craving more meats during the winter time because again, those proteins provide the added energy that you need to metabolize and do all the things that your body does during the day. Oils and fats, you may crave more like oils or fats in your diet, but we want to make sure we're listening to what our body is saying. Okay, the other one is lack of nutrients. And that's kind of what hit me yesterday, right? I was lacking nutrition because if I had had the nutrition at lunchtime like I was supposed to, my body wouldn't have been craving like I need some energy now. And so yeah, things like inadequate minerals in your diet can cause you to crave salts. I always noticed that when I used to ride horses and train and stuff that I would be craving a bag of potato chips when I got done, something salty when I got done sweating and working out. Not only was my horse sweaty after working out, but I was too. And so you notice that there's that craving for something salty. The other one is, like I said, lack of energy. And so when you have a lack of energy, you either crave caffeine or something sweet because your body's looking for an instant fix. So we want to talk a little bit here in a minute after this next one. How to listen to what your body is saying. What is it actually saying to you? The other cause for cravings is hormonal. And I'm sure you can all identify with this. These are unique cravings. They're like, when you were pregnant. So I just remember with one of my two daughters, I remember I was pregnant and craved all the time. I wanted either a chocolate milkshake or, and I know they're not very nutritious, or crunchy Cheetos. I don't know. They're just kind of, who knows about our hormones. Sometimes, they just cause us to want silly things. So sometimes that can happen. You might also notice cravings right before your period, if you're still having those. And those of us in menopause have unique cravings as well. And I think they're sometimes different than any of the cravings we've had before. So, in fact, I would be really interested to hear what your menopausal craving tends to be. I know that for me, I have never been a big chocolate lover, but one of the things that I crave, and maybe it's because I've just trained myself that way, but is to have a little piece of chocolate. I never want like tons of chocolate, but I can crave just having a little piece of chocolate. Those peanut butter cups, that's why I wanted it, right? It was a craving, it was a hormonal craving as well as being an imbalance in my diet and needing to have some food and energy and food producing energy. So we want to really listen to what our body is saying to us. And when we have these cravings, it's usually your body trying to tell you something. And so I want to take a look at some of those cravings and just kind of interpret them for you. And I have included in your email today a list of uh, food cravings and what they mean. And I've also included a um, a healthy snack list. So feel free to print those out, keep them where you can find them easily so that you can refer to them and get yourself what it is that your body's asking for. And so I'm going to just start right straight up with chocolate because we just talked about that one. And sometimes chocolate is a magnet. Chocolate can relate to a magnesium deficiency. And so, what should you eat instead of having a chocolate? Perhaps your body needs some seeds like the little pepita pumpkin seeds or raw nuts or fruit or a leafy green vegetable. Those are things that have good amounts of magnesium in them, and they're a great way to satisfy that craving for chocolate. Another one is breads. How many of you out there are like, feel like you're a bread addict? Oh, I just need some bread. And so, what does that mean? What's that craving all about? What is your body trying to say to you? And a bread craving generally means there's a nitrogen deficiency. So, how do you fix a nitrogen deficiency? I mean, we know that with green plants to fix a nitrogen deficiency, we just add some fertilizer, right? But oatmeal and leafy green vegetables, there it is again, nuts, legumes like beans or peas or lentils, those are all have good amounts of nitrogen in them. And so you can actually fix your craving um, by um, by adding those kinds of foods to your diet instead of bread. Because sometimes, bread is not what we need, especially if it's got gluten in it and all the wrong carbohydrates. Um, Another one is salty snacks, and there's two things that salty snacks could be. Salty snacks could be the hormone deficiency or hormone fluctuation, like I mentioned before, and also could mean stress. And so when you've just exercised and sweated a bunch, that's actually your body actually has been stressed. And so that's another reason why salty snacks may be something that you want to reach for. So what could you have instead, or what could you eat? Um, you could have a kombucha. That would be really good, not only for fixing that salt craving, but also nourishing your gut and your gut microbiome. You might want to have the salty seaweed um, little packets. You've seen some of those in the health food store. Seaweed is a way to fix that. Um, Another one might be to have celery. Did you know that celery and watermelon are nature's natural electrolytes? Yeah. And so you could just have a celery stick with some peanut butter on it, and that would fix your salty snack. Um, so, those are a couple of things you might think about doing. And um, if you have that salty snack, you can read about the rest of these cravings and what they mean on the